Hello Magpies! Hope you're all doing well. We've got some exciting transfer news to talk about today. And trust me, this one could be huge for Newcastle United. We all know that the summer transfer window is going to be a big one for the club. And new sporting director Paul Mitchell has some serious work to do. While we won't have an unlimited budget, there's enough room for smart and impactful signings. And one name that's just become really interesting is Matheus Cunha. Now let's break this down. Newcastle United are reportedly targeting 3 outfield players this summer, along with a new goalkeeper. We're talking about a centre-back, a right winger, and, here's where it gets exciting, a versatile attacker or midfielder. And this is exactly where Matheus Cunha fits in. The Brazilian forward has been on Newcastle's radar for some time. We were linked with him back in January, but Wolves held on to him and even handed him a new contract. But here's the thing. His new deal includes a release clause. That means Newcastle could trigger it for $62.5 million this summer and bring him straight to St. James Park. Now, is Cunha worth that kind of money? Absolutely. He's not just a striker, he's a player who can operate in multiple roles. Whether he's playing up top, out wide, or in an attacking midfield role, he brings energy, creativity, and goal-scoring ability. And let's be honest, Newcastle could really use an attacking midfielder who can break the lines and create chances in the final third. That's exactly what Cunha brings to the table. Just look at his numbers this season. 14 goals and 4 assists in all competitions for Wolves. That's serious output for a player who isn't even playing for a top 6 side. He's proven he can handle the Premier League, and with better players around him at Newcastle, he could take his game to the next level. And here's another interesting factor. Cunha already has a connection to our squad. He won Olympic gold alongside Bruno Guimarães at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. That chemistry could be huge if he makes the move to Tyneside, especially considering how Bruno has flourished since joining Newcastle. But of course there's a catch. Signing Cunha won't be easy. If Newcastle want to have any real chance of landing him, we need to qualify for the Champions League. Players like Cunha won't come to a club unless they're playing at the highest level in Europe. Right now, we're 6th in the league, but with 11 games to go, there's still a shot at finishing in the top 5. And let's not forget, 5th place might be enough to qualify for the Champions League this season. So, it's all in our hands. If Eddie Howe's men can push hard and secure a top 5 finish, then this summer could be a transformative one for Newcastle. We're already hearing that Dean Hyson is interested in joining us, but only if we're in the Champions League. You have to imagine Cunha will have the same mindset. Now let's be clear, this deal is far from done. It's still in the early stages, and we're not the only club that will be looking at him. But if Newcastle United can pull this off, it could be a game changer. Cunha could give us the attacking spark we've been missing. And alongside players like Isak, Gordon, and Bruno, he could make Newcastle an absolute force next season. But what do you think, Magpies? Would Cunha be the right signing for Newcastle? Let me know in the comments. And don't go anywhere, because up next, we'll be talking about another exciting target, Porto's Samu Aguihoa. Stay tuned. Now let's talk about another exciting name, linked with Newcastle United, Samu Aguihoa. This one is really intriguing, because we're talking about a young striker who has been absolutely tearing it up for Porto this season. At just 20 years old, Aguihoa has been a standout performer, both domestically and in Europe, and Newcastle are taking notice. So, who is Samu Aguihoa? And why is he on our radar? Well, for starters, his stats this season are incredible. 19 goals and 3 assists in all competitions, including 6 goals in the Europa League. That's the kind of output that catches the attention of top clubs. And Newcastle are no exception. He's a clinical finisher, has great movement in the box, and possesses the kind of raw talent that could make him a star in the Premier League. Now, here's where things get interesting. According to reports, Newcastle have a growing appreciation for Agahawa and have added him to their list of potential summer signings. But we're not the only ones. Chelsea were already keen on him last summer, and now Arsenal, Tottenham, and even Bayern Munich are all considering a move for the young forward. That means if we really want him, we're going to have to move fast and make a serious offer. And speaking of offers, it's been reported that Porto would be looking for around $41 million to let him go this summer. That's not cheap, but when you look at his potential and his performances this season, it might be worth every penny. Newcastle need firepower up front, and Agahawa could be exactly the kind of striker we need for the future. But here's the big question. Why are we looking for a striker in the first place? Well, it all comes down to Alexander Isak. We all know how important he is to Newcastle, and the club absolutely wants to keep him. There's already talk of offering him a new contract to make sure he stays at St. James Park for at least another season. His current deal runs until 2028, so there's no immediate pressure to sell him. But that hasn't stopped big clubs from sniffing around. If Newcastle were to lose Isak, replacing him would be nearly impossible. He's a truly special player, someone who doesn't even need to be at his best to find the back of the net. Just look at his performance against Nottingham Forest. He struggled at times against their low block, but still managed to score twice, including a well-taken penalty. That's what top strikers do. They make things happen, even when the game isn't going their way. But even if Isak stays, adding another quality striker would be a smart move. Injuries have been a problem for us this season, and we can't afford to go into another campaign relying on just one main goal scorer. Agahawa would give us another option up front, adding depth to our attack and giving Eddie Howe more tactical flexibility. And there's another interesting parallel here. If Agahawa does sign for Newcastle, he'd be following in the footsteps of Ayoze Perez. We all remember how good Perez was for us, spending 5 years at the club and scoring 45 goals in nearly 200 appearances. Could Agahawa have a similar impact? It's certainly possible. He's got the talent, the goal-scoring instincts, and the hunger to succeed at the highest level. Of course, signing him won't be easy. With so many big clubs interested, Newcastle will need to convince him that St. James's Park is the right place for his development. And just like with Matheus Cunha, Champions League football could be a deciding factor. If we want to attract top talent, we need to be playing in Europe's biggest competition. So, what do you think, Magpies? Should Newcastle go all out to sign Agahawa this summer? Or should the focus be on keeping Isak at the club for as long as possible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's all for today, folks. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a Newcastle United news update. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.